this begins Chapter 3, Lesson 4, dealing with multiplying one-digit numbers. But before we get into that, I just want to take a moment and kind of review some of the concepts that we have been dealing with. So I want you to stop for a moment and then go through and solve these problems. Not that I want you to go through and multiply them straight through, but I want you to multiply them using either rounding or compatible numbers. So for the first one, and I apologize for the vacuum cleaner in the background, so 52 times 78, I would use 50 times 80, and that gives me an answer of 4,000. For number 2, 288 times 6, I would change this to 300 times 6, and that gives me an answer of 1,800. For 522 times 29, I would change this to 500 times 30, and that gives me an answer of 15,000. For number 4, I would change this to 20 times 600, and that gives me an answer of 12,000. And for 253 times 23, I could change that to 250 times 20, and that equals 5,000. Now, there's more than one way to resolve these. Like if I look back here at my 288 times 6, if I wanted to, just to give you another option here, I could say, well, I want to do 288 times 10, and that would give me 2,880. And so you have lots of different ways in how you want to go about changing these answers to come up with a variety of different ways. So today what we're going to do is focus on multiplying one-digit numbers. And so what we're going to do is a fancy term we're going to work with the multiplication algorithm. So we're going to multiply a three-digit number by a one-digit number. So going to our example, if we start with, say, 28 times 7, and to put this in a real-world context, we'll say that Karen is preparing for a spelling bee, and she studies about 28 pages of the dictionary every day. So how many pages would she do in a week? So this is the number that she does in a day, and this is the number she does in a week. How many, the number of days in a week, how many will she do in a week? So when we go through and we do this multiplication algorithm, we're going to first multiply the ones, which gives us 8 times 7 is 56. So I'm going to keep my ones here, but my 50, I'm going to move into my tens place. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply my 7 times the tens. So 7 times 2 is 14, plus 5 is 19. So I have 19 groups of tens, which when I put that all together gives me 196. So that means that she studied about 196 pages in a week. Well, we know that a large Ferris wheel will seat 260 people. So 260 people can ride it once. How many people can ride it in 9 rides? Well, the first thing I want to do is I want to kind of estimate this. So if I do 260 times 10, that's going to give me an answer about 2,600. And it's always good to go through and do that estimate, just so that you kind of have an idea as to where you're heading. So when I do 9 times 0, well, anything times 0 is 0, so I don't have to worry about that. When I do 9 times my 6 here, my 6 groups of tens, that gives me 54, so I'm going to put my 4 here, and this is my 5 up here. And then I multiply 9 times 2, which is 18, plus 5 is 23. So I have 2,340 people ride 9 times, and if I look and I compare it to my estimate, yes, it's going to be less than my estimate, but I also, if you notice here, I increased my estimate. I was up by one whole group, and I bet if I add another 260 people, I'll get 2,600. It's kind of fun how it works like that. And sorry for sending the camera shaking like crazy. So let's do a couple more like this, just so you can see another one on how to do this multiplication algorithm. We're going to do 53 times 4. So when I go through and I multiply that out, I'm going to multiply my 1's first, which gives me my 2, and I'm going to carry my 1 so that I have my 12 is represented here in my 2 and my 1. So now I'm going to multiply 4 times my 10's place. 4 times 5 is 20, plus another group of 10 is 21. So my answer is 212. Alright, let's try something with a little 3-digit number here. We'll do 811, and we will multiply that times 2. And I love doing this because when you multiply this times 2, you're just doing repeat addition. So I'm just going to multiply 2 times 1 is 2. Oops, sorry, there's my 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 8 is 16. So my answer is 1,622. So now what I'm going to do for you is go ahead and write down some problems that I would like you to solve. And if you can solve these with absolutely no problem whatsoever, you will do just fine on your assignment. Now I'm not having you multiply decimals together, so I'm just having numbers here so I can kind of keep track of where I'm at in these problems. And that way it's easier for me. Sorry, that's 208 times 3. I'll make sure I always have my answer in front of me in the book. So now what I'm going to go through is go through and solve these, but I'd like you to go through and pause the video, solve them, and then when I go back and solve them, see how you did it compared to how I did it. The first thing I'm thinking is, okay, I know my estimate is going to be 40 times 2, which is about 80. So my estimate here is going to be about 80. And that's always important. To go through that estimate. Gives you an idea of where your place value is. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. It's 84. Okay, check my estimate. Good. I'm done there. So now 61 times 5, I'm going to say it's 60 times 5. If my pen decides to cooperate. And so it's going to be about 300. So 5 times 1, excuse me, is 5. 5 times 6 is 30. 305. Oh, estimate turned out great. Now for this one, I'm going to do 314 times 10, which gives me 3,140. It's going to be a little bit lower than that because I upped my estimate, but it'll be right in there. So 9 times 4 is 36. So 6, carry my 3. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 3 is 12. I'm going to carry my 1 there. 9 times 3 is 27, plus 1 is 28. And there's my answer. So here, 31 times 5, I'm going to do 30 times 5, which equals 150. So 3 times 5, 5 times 1 is 5, and 5 times 3 is 15. You see that my estimate is close. And, let's do 200 times 3, that'll give me 600. It's going to be less than that, but we'll make it work. Actually, it'll be more than that because I lowered this one. So 8 times 3 is 24. So I'm going to do 4, carry my 2. And this one's nice because you get 3 times 0, which is 0, but plus 2. And then 2 times 3, which is 6. So 624 compared to my estimate of 600. If you were able to solve these problems fairly easily, you will have no problem. It's really important. Make sure, whether you write it down or not is irrelevant, but make sure you're going through and taking the time to do these estimates. These estimates are crucial, especially when we start getting into super duper big numbers. But if you were able to solve those problems easily enough, you'll have no problem on your lesson. So that concludes your lesson.